This wedding was an assignment for my Religion 2 class in Catholic school.
This one's wife, American Riviera orchard. It's perfect. Hello, I'm H.G. Tudor. Rory Tingle writes in the Daily Mail, this one's wife believes name of her new lifestyle brand, American Riviera Orchard, is perfect and authentic to her. No surprise there that the Duchess of Delusion believes a name which universally has been panned as being difficult, doesn't roll off the tongue, and in my case puts me in mind of a care or nursing home. She believes, of course, that it's perfect and authentic to her. Not a surprise, because naturally her narcissism tells her that anything she does is brilliant and better than anything anybody else could ever do. This one's wife believes the name of her new lifestyle brand, American Riviera Orchard, is perfect. It was reported today as a PR expert suggested the Duchess may have chosen not to include her own name due to her plunging popularity in the United States. Whilst that's understandable, this one's wife hasn't included her name because what she'll do is she'll plaster it everywhere else. She wants to have an idea of a stable of brands that are all controlled by her. And, for instance, Goop isn't called Gwyneth Paltrow, it's called Goop. Kourtney Kardashian has Poosh. It isn't called Kourtney Kardashian. And similarly to that, this one's wife, believing herself to be in the league of those individuals, wants it to have a separate identity, and she thinks, as is explained, that American Riviera Orchard is perfect, even though many other people think that it's a preposterous name. This one's wife, 42, launched American Riviera Orchard in a glitzy social media video. It's one way of describing it, looking like a Ring remake. Last week, with the new venture set to coincide with a new Netflix cookery show, how original, featuring her. Royal watchers immediately called the name pretentious and a word salad, with former Dragon's Den star Duncan Bannatyne weighing in to dismiss it as nonsensical. But the Duchess is said to be standing by the name, with an insider insisting that it felt authentic, to her. It doesn't sound authentic in the slightest. Okay, we recognise that it's based on what is called the American Riviera, but that's hardly any originality. And what's it got to do with fucking orchards? Anyway, naturally, she only has a set number of words that she can use, such as meaningful, insightful, authentic, organic, that she uses, and therefore she regularly rolls out authentic. After all, this is a woman that doesn't understand the difference between visceral and guttural. The source told People, this one's wife finds the name American Riviera Orchard perfect. It feels authentic to her. She can't wait for the website to launch. Sean O'Meara, founder of the Essential Content PR business, predicted this one's wife's decision not to include her own name in the branding could be a reflection of her declining popularity in America. A survey published last month by Newsweek found this one's wife was liked by 31% and disliked by 30%, giving her a net approval rating of +1. This was a major drop compared with December when she was on +15. Mr. O'Meara told Mail Online, this one's wife and Harry's collective and individual approaches to personal branding have been gradually shifting ever since the backlash to their Netflix documentary. They've each been less enthusiastic about associating their names and images with the projects they're working on. Last summer, PR advisors were speculating that this might be on the advice of their own team, who have seemed to have been urging them to step back from the limelight. Well, they might well urge them to do so, but this one's wife is never going to step back from the limelight because her narcissism suggests that she ought to be bathed in the limelight. Indeed, it needs her to be bathed in the limelight for the purposes of asserting control and drawing fuel. With that in mind, this one's wife launching a lifestyle brand that doesn't feature her name or image seems in line with the recent approach. I think this private label approach is a way to limit the amount of exposure this one's wife gets while allowing the brand to form its own personality. Not at all. It goes on to state, think of Gwyneth Paltrow's Goop for a similar approach. Well, indeed, she's copying those. It's nothing to do with keeping her name away from it because she thinks she's unpopular. She thinks that she's wonderful, but rather it's because she wants to mimic the other brands where it isn't called Gwyneth Paltrow's Goop, it's just called Goop. When needed, Gwyneth can promote the brand with the weight of her celebrity, but the brand isn't inextricably tied to her. Often taking steps to keep a founder separate from the brand they launch is done with one eye on an exit strategy. It's easier to sell a brand when it doesn't rely on a single persona for market presence. Well, luckily for American Riviera Orchard, it doesn't have a single persona for market presence because most people don't like this one's wife. It's unsurprising that this one's wife regards American Riviera Orchard as perfect. She's deluded, and she believes that anything that she gets involved in is always going to be brilliant. She's incapable of recognizing that she's talentless. She's incapable of recognizing the extent of her unpopularity and why that is. It's also the case that this has gone off half-arsed. In her desperation to overshadow the Diana Legacy Awards, all we've got is a landing page, and she hasn't even had the relevant intellectual property application finalised. What do people below the line think about this suggestion that she regards it as perfect? Is this view that's shared? I say it as it is, writes, the name is pretentious, just as is this one's wife. Worse, the name is not memorable, difficult to remember, does not trip off the tongue. Just imagine going into a shop full of stuff and saying, I want some of that jam stuff made by that American woman. Not you, ha-ha, adds the name has zero meaning, just like her entire existence. Angelus97, perfect, she questions. It's not exactly a name that rolls off the tongue, too many words, too many syllables. Hale Jackson, did you expect anything different from the Queen of Word Salad? Katie Conker, whatever it was that she was wanting the name to convey, I think she's missed the mark. It's just a confusing muddle of words that seem to have no connection to each other. Observant 1, it made as much sense as Archwell. Weaver, I hardly think her line of glitzy and self-indulgent products is long awaited by anyone. This one's wife may not want to use her name because of declining popularity. It's tanking, not declining. But she sure is willing to use the title to make easily swayed buyers think they are getting something special. Jim Bunny responds, this one's wife would not believe she is declining in popularity. She'll blame it on Harry, indeed. Sophia F., authentic and organic are her favourite words. Remy Mom jumps in with, along with curating, collective and shining a light. Sadly, she's created such negativity that there's really no market or segment of the population who wants to see either of them succeed. So much wasted goodwill at the beginning. Well, there are no champions of the name there. Once again, the two fundamental points emerge. People think it's a stupid name, and it's not going to do well because it's associated with this one's wife. I'm H.G. Tudor. Thank you for listening.